Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Joy, would you please call the roll?
Hamilton,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Revelinsky,
Yes.
Flournoy,
Yes.
Ledger Kalin,
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, council. Any changes or additions to this evening's agenda? Doug, are you going to have a report from
Yes, I'll
personnel?
say something about the administrative search. Thank you.
Personnel Committee report. Let's see. All right, then we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have approval of minutes from the October 13th meeting. We have resolution approving the promotion to Sergeant of Officer Wall, David Wall. And we have a resolution approving the promotion to Captain for Colin Smith. A resolution approving employment, Park and Rec for various and sundry lifeguards. We have approval of a liquor license for Earth and Water LLC and for the Fraternal Order of the Eagles. Claims in the amount of $574,892.14. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Moved by Revelinsky.
Second.
Second by Hamilton. Please call the roll, Joy.
Revelinsky.
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Ledger Kalin,
Yes.
Hallie,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we have an annual report by our librarian, Rebecca, and I asked her if she could do that at this time. We'll move it up on the agenda.
Well, I have to tell you, I was dreading this because I went to a meeting of directors, library directors, who represent our peer libraries. It's a professional group called Iowa Libraries of Medium Size. There were about 22 libraries represented there. And they went around the table, and without exception, circulation had gone down, okay? But not Fairfield. I ran the numbers. If you look at the very last page in your report, you'll see that total circulation has remained steady. And not only that, but our usage of downloadable books has increased significantly, and I expect to see that go up quite a bit because we're going to try an experiment in this coming year. We're going to make them visible in our catalog. So when you search for an item, it will be listed, that title will be listed as an electronic book, or here it is in print, or here it is as an audiobook. Take your pick. And what happens is that since we're in a consortium, many of the downloadable books you're waitlisted for because you have 100-some libraries in the consortium all sharing this digital collection.
So there's a limit.
So there's a limit, and they're very expensive to buy individually. So when you browse the catalog and you see that it's checked out to someone else, you have a choice to either borrow it and wait or borrow a print book of the same title.
So how does it work if someone downloads a book? Is it returned somehow? Is it digitally returned?
Yes, if it's an audiobook, you download it to your portable gizmo, then you can keep it on that portable device as long as you wish. But if it's an ebook and you download that, it's kind of like Mission Impossible. It self-destructs.
Oh.
30 days, how long do you get to read?
How long do you
Right.
have?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Can you renew?
You can,
Uh-huh.
if no one's waiting. But when you have 100-some libraries, and when one digital recording costs our library $75, we don't buy a lot, we don't do that. So we buy
That's a lot
print.
of money.
And when we buy print, we can buy it for $17 on average if it's nonfiction. And you'll be able to see your options listed together. And our hope is that the sales rep is correct, that this new way of downloading straight from the catalog will be much more user-friendly. and simple. So that's one trend that we're seeing. The library has undertaken educational family events. And one of them is called When the Lights Go Out. It's called a literary Halloween event. And when the lights went out last night, storybook characters came to life. And we had a gate count of 472 last night for that event. That's what we're seeing with these family events. We're doing Halloween. In the spring, we do Mad Scientist Day, and we have volunteers who run hands-on experiment booths for children to come through and try. We also do the tried and true summer kickoff for the summer reading program in June. And then we're also doing a family garden day that's been very successful. So we've had gate counts in the range of 400 to 500 for each of those quarterly events. So that's working for us. In addition, we're now teaching computer workshops, and we call it Technology Tuesdays. Tomorrow there will be 2 workshops showing people how to use Microsoft Word, and we've had a wide range of topics. If you're interested, just go to our website, look at the calendar on the Tuesdays, and you'll see what's coming. So I wanted to leave time for questions if you have questions. Lots of numbers here.
Rebecca, now that we've been through a summer with the solar installation, what did you notice on your electric bills?
Last month, there was a difference of $1,000 between that month and the same month prior year.
Fantastic.
So we're happy.
That's very significant. That's great. Council, I know we're just getting the report. Are there any questions regarding any of the budget items? How did you finish last year in terms of your overall projected budget? And
We came in under budget significantly. We did that on purpose because we had been asked to tighten our belts and try to compensate for a shortfall, and so we did that. I couldn't do it every year, but we did it last year.
Thank you for that. Now, the other thing, since it's along the same lines, you have noted here that you applied library rollover to library materials and the new solar system.
Right.
Rollovers will be ending.
Right.
We're going through our audit process right now, and although our last 2 city administrators insisted that they were perfectly fine to roll funds over from one budget year to the next, it is illegal according to the Iowa code. So we won't be doing that
Well, we
anymore.
won't be doing that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Rebecca. I know that you had a lot of requests at one time for more help with in the computer and the IT department area.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, what happened with that? I mean, how's that going?
We have Michael Cassiopo as our tech support man. He's working 35 hours a week. He's extremely busy. He's offering these Technology Tuesday workshops that I mentioned earlier every week, week after week, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. He ideally, in my mind, we would have had a cart full of laptop computers to roll into the meeting room and set the meeting room up as a classroom. But, the funds were not there for that, and he created an open, a closed circuit video system in the library. So, as you know, he's standing in one location, but he has computers that people are using over here and over there and way across the room. So what he's done is he's made it possible for each person at each of our public computers to see his face and then to see his desktop. And he shows them what to do, and then they do it. So it's working.
That's great.
And costs very, very little, and people who take the workshops have a tendency to donate a little bit to kind of as a give back. So sometimes they're refundable deposits. They decide to just give or gift to the library. So any expense that we've put into it has been offset by those gifts.
Great.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. I think excellent report. We really appreciate having one of the best libraries in the state. So thank you for your stewardship of that.
Thank you.
And council, if you have any other questions, I'd entertain a motion to accept the annual report.
Move. to
Moved by
accept.
Hamilton.
Second.
By Ledger Kalen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council will move to a resolution that we should have in place, as we will be doing some of our borrowing very soon towards the two projects revolving the Fairfield Recreation Center project, the pool and the recreation center. Joy and I were meeting today with Travis Squires from Piper Jaffray, and he is they're putting final touches on what the offer is going to be. There are 5 local banks that are interested in participating. There's also outside participation of interest. So he's basically trying to put together one offering for all of them and see where we get. So I would hope that within the next 2 weeks we will actually be starting that process of borrowing. But we need to have this resolution in place that will essentially allow us to borrow with the intention of reimbursing for those projects. So entertain a motion then to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Moved by Flournoy.
Second.
Second by Revelinsky. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Okay, next, Doug is going to report from Personnel Committee on the city administrator search, so I will skip that, and we'll move then to our committee report, and we'll start with the Economic Development Committee Housing Task Force.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
There's really not a whole
Well,
lot
it's,
to,
yeah, it looked like from your notes there wasn't a lot, so
No, there isn't.
anything more to review?
not really.
I think there are some
Basically-
recommendations that are pending.
Right.
Yeah.
We basically met with developers and kind of got feedback from them and presented some different ideas. And so, yeah, there's really nothing to report at this point. It was pretty just gathering ideas, and we'll have more to present to the council at some point in the near future.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll move to report from our environmental and franchise utility.
We just had 2 items we discussed. The first was a local citizen who wanted the council to adopt a resolution supporting a preservation of antibiotics for Medical Treatment Act. Although we see the point and why some people are concerned about overuse of antibiotics in agriculture, we didn't feel that this was an issue that the council would want to get involved with. It was essentially a campaign to try to get these federal acts passed through both Congress and the Senate by getting local city councils on board. Apparently it was a new tactic that had been tried before, and we just didn't feel like jumping into the political scene on that one. The other thing we discussed, something I brought up, it's this time of year again, we start thinking about leaves. Leaves are really wonderful things. You know, in the spring, they give us oxygen.
It's not dry enough to burn, Michael. You can't burn that one.
And in the fall, they turn beautiful colors. And then when they die, they become nutrients for the soil. But since you did mention burning, if I were,
No, don't do it in here, come on.
if I were to burn this leaf,
Oh my
photo op,
gosh.
Fire chief.
Fire chief.
it would release carbon monoxide, which I know our fire chief is not a big fan of. He tells people to put carbon monoxide detectors in their homes, if I'm not mistaken. Also, particulate matter that irritates the lungs, especially people with asthma or any respiratory illness, and carcinogens. So Although
I'm
it smells
kinda-
nice, I was out earlier and there's a burning leaf smell in the air. There are people in our community who this actually is very detrimental to their health. So we're not, as a committee, interested in changing the burning laws as they stand, but there are so many options besides burning. You can put a certain type of blade on your lawnmower and just chop up the leaves and they fall between the grass, and you need that much less fertilizer in the spring. You can compost them on site. You can take them to our compost pile, city compost site that's open 24/7. You can bag them, leave them by the curb for waste management, who will then take them to the compost site. You can give them to your neighbor, or if you have a friend who values free mulch material, which there are people in town. Former Councilman Jim Rubis is one of them. So just for the sake of those who the smell of burning leaves isn't a pleasant thing, it's a sign that they can't be outside and enjoy the outdoors. We do talk about our rights. People say I have the right to burn. Well, people have the right to enjoy the outdoors. And there are people, when they smell that smoke, they head inside and wait because it really irritates their lungs. There's just some people are just more sensitive than others or have asthma or whatnot. So we're not talking about a leaf burning ban right now, but I am going to make my plea. Just consider the alternatives.
I'm a little bothered by that butane you just burned.
Come on. Now.
So,
Is that going to increase our
Anyway.
CO2 footprint, Michael?
This,
well, one of the issues,
Incrementally.
when this has come up before, providing the alternative is generally where we are, and the expense of, equipping our street department with something that would vacuum the leaves up is one of the issues. The other, Daryl, is this time of year, would your crew even be able to make time based on the personnel that you have right now?
we looked into that years ago. It just didn't make economic
Yeah,
sense.
so it's troubling, and I know from your notes you'd mentioned that what we have right now is a compromise. Going maybe a little bit more restrictive even on the number of days would be something in the direction of
Yeah, and then I have
another alternative.
Well, I have a resolution, sample resolution from the DNR, and there are actually a lot of loopholes. For example, Darren has a neighbor who likes to smoke meat. Well, that still would be allowed. Doug likes to burn areas of his lawn. That's still allowed. Jessica likes to have a fire pit in her backyard. That's still fine. So it doesn't make every type of burning illegal. It's just the idea of burning leaves as a way of managing them. That's the only portion that would be illegal. You can still have recreation fires. You can still smoke your meat, burn your
So
prairie grass.
it didn't come out of committee with a vote or any other
We
members
didn't
of the
take any
council
action.
who
We
would
just
be
discussed it.
sympathetic to Michael's butane burning, indoor butane burning. I don't see any.
Well, I agree with you, Michael.
I've been on this for a while.
I was in on the discussion 10 years ago, and I was expressing the point of view you are right now. And I appreciate people enjoy their ritual, their fall ritual of burning the leaves, and it doesn't bother me personally, but I do sympathize with the people with an asthmatic child who has to, stay in the house and feel their life is threatened by it. And so, to me, it's, if you live in the city, that's what it's about. So I would certainly support a resolution or tightening it up. If people want to smoke their meat, go somewhere else and do it. I don't know.
So that's allowed.
That would be fun.
That's allowed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for your report, Michael. We'll move on then to our Personnel Committee report. Doug?
Yes, I called Patrick Callahan today and spoke to him about the city administrator search. I see today that he just got this today a minute ago. He has sent a letter summarizing basically our conversation that we had this afternoon, but let me just give you a summary myself here. He met with the department heads as planned and did all those interviews as well as some community members, developed a position profile. All the advertising is out, he said. He has attended 2 conferences. Well, advertising is out and the community profile is being written today, and he thought it would be done by tomorrow morning. And he'll send it to, who's he going to send it to? Joy for editing? Make sure it looks okay?
He said I was going to get a copy. I would imagine you would get a copy
So
also.
we probably forward that to the council as a whole, just to make sure we don't miss anything. That'll be out, ready by tomorrow, so council, watch your mailbox for that, so we can get feedback quickly to Patrick if something wrong. Then he'll forward that by email to all interested individuals. And he attended 2 significant meetings, the Iowa League of Cities, which is not in this letter, but he did mention also the Iowa Municipal Finance Officers Association, where he met people and sold our city to them and garnered some interest that way. Timeline. So we have 6 applications so far, and the deadline for applications is November 10, and typically, most of the applications come in at the last minute. So a week before November 10, next week sometime, they'll start flowing in. November 13th, so mark your calendars for these dates. On November 13th, Patrick will come here. He'll arrive around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a Thursday. He'll bring all the applications with him, so if you want to come in person and look at the applications, I'll probably be in the conference room, I suppose. And you can look those over as much as you like, ask him questions. Then at 6:30 that evening, same day, we'll have a special council meeting where he will present recommendations to the council of his top 6 to 8 finalists. November 20, we will all meet here, I presume, we're in the conference room. We'll do a phone interviews of all the candidates. I think each interview lasts half an hour to 45 minutes. And we all participate in that.
What time is that?
6:30 on Thursday. And
The 20th.
the 20th, yes. Did I say 13th? Yeah, that's a Thursday too, though. It's also Thursday. We'll narrow it down to 3 or 4 candidates at that point, and we'll bring those 3 or 4 people to Fairfield on December 6th, which is a Saturday. And if I recall correctly, he likes to do these all together, which kind of puts the candidates on the spot, but it should be interesting. You are not going to be here,
Gonna do the 5th.
so you're doing it by phone, right?
No, I'm gonna meet him on the 5th.
Yeah, the night before.
Right.
And if they bring any spouses or significant others with them, we need to find someone who can take those individuals on a tour of the city, probably Saturday,
Right.
while their
I think we got
candidates are being interviewed.
Rustin and Brent, I think, did it the last time we had candidates, so we'll
Maybe Terry
work
Baker,
that
did
out.
Terry Baker do it also?
She
Who's
did.
the
Yeah.
president of the chamber?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
and Ginny did it.
Yeah, right. But we should start lining up, especially now since December 6th is going to be, the holiday season's kicking in and people are going to have commitments, so might be a good idea to come up with some names now to get that lined up. And then presumably that evening, we will make a choice and an offer. And have that all wrapped up by Monday night, which is when the council meeting is on the 8th, that we can move to approve the new position.
Well, it won't be till the 15th.
We only have one in
We only
December,
have one in December.
one
Sorry?
council
We only
meeting
have
in
one council
December.
meeting in December.
Oh, I have it on my calendar.
Well,
Probably be the
maybe,
15th.
maybe.
The 15th,
well,
right.
We could meet that night anyway.
Maybe we would have a special council meeting just
Yeah.
to make that.
I
get
think
that done, but-
if you make an offer and you close the deal by Monday, we should
Right, yeah,
get that
yeah,
done.
we'll need that.
Not let it linger because they move on.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just one more thing on my mind. One of the selling points that he told me he's making to the candidates, 3 selling points, is his analysis, we have excellent department heads that are all competent and hardworking. We have a good salary range for the position, and the council works well together. Those are all good points in hiring a city administrator. So if that's the image we're presenting, that's the image we should continue to present.
Everybody plays nice. Okay. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. No, and he was, he made that point to me also, that he was very impressed coming out of his meeting with department heads, and he felt that was going to be a key selling point because he said that's not the case everywhere he goes. So thank you for that. Melanie, project update, maybe we can, since I forgot to mention where we are with Logan, could you start with that?
Okay, I'll start with Logan.
Yeah.
On the Logan Apartments, Jason Hull with our office has been contacting a few companies to see if they were interested in being a realtor for Logan. And we had 5 companies that were, at least said that they were interested. And so then we asked them for some proposals, and only 3 of them submitted proposals back. I do not have the names in front of me, but 2 of them seemed to understand the scope, the situation, and had a fair deal of experience. The third one, we just didn't feel like they really understood the city's situation with this project. So we made the recommendation to the mayor to look at those 2 a little bit more and determine what the next steps are. But they're all willing to start working on it right away, which was another part of the proposal process.
Yeah, and the other, I received a phone call from a woman who worked in the HUD offices, is now working for a development company. She was aware of our project, and we've begun some discussions. They're interested in looking at it too, and anyone who's going to be interested in this for the tax credit purposes will have to get an application in by December 9th. So we do need to move very quickly. So I think tomorrow we'll select a realtor and move forward so that they can start working on this, and some of the other people that, well, at least this company, this developer that has expressed interest, hopefully we can get them on board quickly.
As far as other projects, there's 3 pages on that attachment of various things that are going on. Andy will get together tomorrow and decide that the skate park is officially open, hopefully tomorrow. We'll go through a punch list tomorrow on the skate park. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the contractor for Highland Street, we're working with them in another town, and they haven't finished up that project. So Daryl and I discussed that it looks like we're going to start having freezing temperatures this week, so we're not going to recommend that the contractor tear up any portion of Highland, because they're not going to get it filled back in before the snow hits. So Highland will be delayed until spring. We did contact some of the homeowners about putting trees in this fall. Oakwood submitted a bid for some of the trees that are on the city's approved list. They had a limited supply available right now, so we told the homeowners that they could put some in now, get them kind of a head start, but it was a limited selection, or they could wait till the spring when we have a little larger list. So we've had a couple kind of inquiry question about it, but as far as I know, none have made any orders.
Did you talk to Scott Tim about trees we need to move off of South Main?
No.
Okay.
But I know about that issue,
Yeah,
and so.
it's crabapple and dogwood, I think. I
Yep.
think I found a home for 3 of 6, so
Okay.
there's still some.
So that might be, we can move some of them out to Highland or something. Okay. Other than that, if there's any questions on the projects on that list, I can answer, but we'll get out of here.
Did you just, sorry to delay, but did you just, I was distracted when you, in the last point you were saying something, is this the thing about the grant for fixing up houses or something? Is that what you were talking about? No, that's
I am working on that, but that's.
You're working on that, okay. Because I have people, now, do we say that's only going to be designated for Ward 3? Is that what we've decided?
It's a geographic area, not a ward area.
Right.
Okay.
It's north.
Here, going east to 8th Street and then running south to Burlington, kind of a rectangle, but there's a lot of industrial parts on the west-hand side of that, so that would not be.
Maybe I'll talk to you afterwards, because I have someone who's so interested,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I don't think she's in there, but, okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, Melanie. Appreciate it. Council, that's everything for this evening. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Hamilton, second by Rasmussen. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, what's that? You've been approved for your license, is that it? That's the first thing we did. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.